Welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So this video here, I'll be teaching you guys how to paint brand new panels. I'll be taking you guys through the method that I'm going to use, and also do my best to explain some alternate methods of how to paint brand new panels. So you'll notice that the inside of that bonnet there, or the hood as you may call it in the US, has not even been sanded. And the exterior I sanded. Now these wet on wet primers, or the non-sanding primers, they're actually able to be used without sanding the panel prior. So no prep is required. However, I don't really trust it for an exterior panel, but the paint rep guys, they assure me that I will get adhesion as long as I wipe it down with the correct wax and grease remover, which is a Standox brand. It's got the orange can and it's just called silicone remover. So I use that with the anti-static degreasing cloths. They're lint free as well. Another thing that you may have to do if you're doing a new hood or a new bonnet, the seam sealer around the edges, depending on the manufacturer, it may come sealed. The Alfa Romeo bonnet here that I'm painting, it came sealed from factory. Some of the Mazdas come sealed, some of the Toyotas come half sealed, but that's just going to vary on make and model. So it's quite an easy job to do once you get the hang of it. Some of the nozzles actually have a little guideline on them. You can chop them off and run it across the edge of the bonnet and just wipe up the excess. So it can get pretty messy if you don't know what you're doing, so just take your time and keep it neat. When you are doing the seam seal, try and leave it overnight if you can. If you get to a bonnet that you see the night before, that's what sometimes say, oh, I'm painting that car tomorrow, I'll put my sealer on now, get a head start on it, it'll be dry tomorrow and you're not putting your fingers in it. So this wet on wet I'm using is the Standox VOC non-stop primer. It's actually a really good quality primer, I like it. I'd probably put the glazer just a little bit above it, but so you actually saw me put just the first coat on. I only left one coat on the inside, however I actually did go and put another nice wet coat over the exterior of the bonnet, so you can see there it's sort of just like a coat of clear. That's given me a really nice bed to start off with. That's going to help any stone chips. It's going to chip down to that primer rather than going back through to that E-coat. I really don't recommend painting straight over E-coat. However, when I was an apprentice, the shop I worked in was a bit of a sort of a rough shop. They didn't really care, and they just painted straight over the E-coat with Basecoat. I've seen cars like that and it just chips off so easy. If you get a stone chip, it'll rust up and stuff like that. So it is really a good idea to get some 2-pack primer on there. If you really want, I've done it in the past. I've just put a coat of 1K over, a couple of thin coats of 1K, and I guess it's better than nothing. But 2-pack primer really is the way to go. A lot of the time, sometimes I'll just put 2-pack primer and then like normal sandable primer instead of the wet on wet over my new panels. That's partly to do with this workshop here. This isn't my own workshop since I've moved. However, I do come back up here and do some jobs every now and then to help my boss out, my old boss out. So yeah, I sometimes like to 2-pack prime the entire thing, and that was just because there was silicone problems here, and I found sometimes I would get some silicone when I put that second coat of wet on wet on. Anyway, continuing on with the job, you see me putting on my first coat of base coat. What I'm actually doing is I had to match a slightly different colour for the inside of the hood on this job, and it's got a lot more black in the colour, and I also use that for a ground coat on the rest of it. So it's something to sort of go over with my matched colour for the exterior, and it's going to make that cover a little bit better and easier. So later on in this video, if you guys hang around right to the end, I'll show you guys why you should always blend your panels, because even people like me who have been doing this for 15 years plus, you can still get a colour wrong. Me and my mate that I work with, we both checked the colour. We both said, yep, that should be sweet. Tried to go edge to edge with this bonnet and the bumper because the quote didn't allow for the blends. However, got tripped up on this one and ended up having to blend into the fenders. So I skipped out the footage on how to blend into the fenders because it's sort of not really related to this video. I'm more focusing on how to paint brand new panels. And the bumper bar, I'm not including all of the footage of that bumper bar, but I'll include a bit of it. Same thing with this bonnet, I'm not including the entire footage of the entire job, just enough to give you guys the idea of exactly what I'm doing. So this is my second coat of top coat base coat. You see I'm smashing that base coat on. It's a solid colour, there's no metallic in it, I've got no effect to worry about. All I'm worried about is solvent based reds really don't cover that well. So I'm just smashing it on as heavy as I can get it, just about as heavy as the Coat Clear. Nice and warm on this day. It would have been sort of 35, just a beautiful average Perth summer's day. The paint's drying really nice and quick. For this first coat of clear, as you see here, I've got my mate the Gunman helping me out. No, this is just, I was mucking around with my video editor. I thought I'd smash something different in there. Let me know what you guys think. Give it a big thumbs up if you like this kind of stuff. I can't say I'm going to be including that in all my videos, but there you go. I cloned myself. 2 Gunmans in 1. Pretty cool. So on with the job. I'm using the DeVilbiss GTI Pro Lite with the TE20 Air Cap 1.3 fluid tip on it. Awesome gun, my favourite gun. Been using it for nearly a year now. I've use and recommend this gun to anyone. I've had guys go from Sarders, turn around and say, mate, this GTI Pro Lite just shits all over the Sarders, and I believe that they do. They're half the price, and they outperform the Sarders as well. So here we go with the second coat of clear on the bumper bar. Okay, what info can I tell you guys about painting bumper bars? This bumper bar here happened to come in primer from factory, so obviously we inspect it, make sure there's no damage from transit and stuff like that. Sometimes you get little stone chips and just chips from being moved around in transit. I might include another video on how to fix those kind of chips, because it's a bit of an art. When you get a new bumper bar with a chip in it, you've got to be quite careful that you do get it right. Although you must fix them, or if you paint over them, you'll probably have to be repainting it. So all I had to do was 800 pad. You could use say 8 or 500 grit soft pad, scuff over the entire panel, and then you can paint straight over it. However, if it was a bare plastic bumper bar, I would have to use a plastic adhesion promoter. There's loads of different ones on the market. Some people like to use the 2K ones. You've also got 1K adhesion promoters, and they work just fine. Most of the panel shops I've always worked in just use 1K plastic primers, and they work just fine. Very rarely see a bumper bar coming back from adhesion problems. It's always a good idea just to give them a clean down with some body clean, which is a PPG product, and that will actually remove the release agents from a bare plastic bumper bar. So the clear I'm using on this job is just Duxone 2K clear. It's just a 2-to-1 clear, and on a day like this there's no need for any reducer. If it's sort of below 20 degrees, you may want to add 5 to 10% reducer. I think on the can it says up to 5%, so you don't want to over reduce this stuff. Good quality clear I've found, but to be honest, it's just a panel clear. It's not something you'd want to be using on a restoration job. However, in the automotive smash industry, we really don't get paid that much money by the insurance companies. It's hard for us to make a dollar, as I know by running my own place, so we've got to find ways to save a couple of dollars. We can still give them a lifetime warranty, and any reworks we will happily do for the guys if they do come across any problems. But it's very rare that we do see anything like that come back. On a restoration job, I wouldn't want to use this stuff. I'd probably be using the Chromax. It's also known as DuPont. They've just recently gone through changing their name. I've done a couple of restos lately, and I've been using the 696S clear, just with the 125S standard activator. It's been going really well. I've found you can just smash that stuff on and you won't have any problems. It won't dull off at all. This Duxone clear, if you go too heavy, it'll just dull off and solvent pop a little bit. Buff will bring it straight back up, and that's just about what happened with this bonnet here. I was trying to make it look real nice because it was the pretty nice Alfa Romeo 159, which I'll give you guys a look at the end when it's all finished off. And yeah, it just dulled off a bit. quick lick with the buff, no deaning, no sanding, just a bit of a compound over it, get a bit of heat in it with the buff, and it brought it up real nice. You'll be able to see that at the very end. I chopped a touch of footage out just there, just to stop the vid from getting too long for you guys. However, I do know I've got a lot of people that absolutely love my long vids, so as always, be sure to shoot a comment in the comments section down below. Be sure to read the description of my vids. I try to include as much info as I can about each job. There's also a link to my Facebook page down there in the description of all my vids too. I do apologise if I can't get back to any of your questions. I do have a life, I do have a career, and I've got my own business to try and run. I am a busy man. I do my best, but yeah, it is quite hard with getting quite a lot of comments lately. So this job's just about wrapping up now. You can see there, that's a really clean job. You'd be lucky to find 2 pieces of dust. In fact, I don't even think there was any dust in that bonnet. Had it not have been for it dying off a bit, as I said, it wouldn't have been buffed at all. However, I think there might have been 1 or 2 little spots in the fenders as well. I'll give you guys a look at underneath that hood as well. I'm not sure if I mentioned that I put a bit of hardener in the base coat for the inside. It's going to make it dull off, save you from having to use matting clear, and yeah, it just gives you a bit more durability as well. So that's what I did, and I'll give you guys a look at the inside of the bonnet, which was the next morning after the paint had dried down. Yeah, also I'll give you a quick look at the fenders when I was blending them. We just ended up putting the panels on and decided, no, not quite good enough. I just had a touch more colour there, and we redid it. So as you can see, it's dry now, and it's sort of a semi-gloss finish, consistent with the rest of the interior under hood. So there you go, we just flicked that colour just over the top of where the bonnet goes and where the bumper bar goes, and just coated clear. Only 1 coat of clear up to that edge, just as not to change the colour from the door to the guard. There you go, that's the job when it's sort of out in the detailing bay. It hasn't yet to be washed, but it's sort of being polished up by the guys. So there you go. Make sure you give that vid a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and this has been another Gunman production. Goodbye.